Hello, beautiful people! Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I am bringing you back my dear friend Sowmya. I'm not sure how 2020 has been for you, but ladies and gentlemen, did you know Melbourne, Australia had the most restrictive and the toughest lockdown? I am forever thankful that I moved to Brisbane before this whole thing got a bit too crazy. Because I know it can be hard for some people to understand what other people might be going through. That is why I have invited my friend back to tell you what it has been like. Sowmya is a freelance writer who is also a mother to a young toddler. During the lockdown, both her husband and herself had to work from home and without childcare support. Needing that mental space for yourself and still be the support for your child can be tricky. But I am so proud of my friend for riding this wave with an optimistic mindset. If you're a parent and you might be feeling you are all alone, please continue watching. And if you have a friend who might have kids or young toddlers at home, continue watching as well. Now, Sowmya and I would really appreciate it if you can screenshot this episode and tag us on social. Spread the love, because you know what? There is never enough of it in this world. Now enjoy the interview. I know you're going to love it.
Thank you so much for your time again. And before we talk about motherhood in lockdown, by the way, I'm just so happy to see you again. Anyways, I'm like jumping everywhere.
It's so nice to see you. I'm becoming like a regular on this show.
Because you have so much to share. Well, before we talk about motherhood in lockdown, I would love to know, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really good today, actually. I've had a great day. And as your viewers might know, I'm in Melbourne. So the restrictions have eased a little bit, which means we can see more people in a social sort of setting. So I saw some friends today and we went on a walk, got a coffee, just small pleasures, but it's so nice getting out of the house and seeing people now.
Yeah, going back to like a normal life, finally.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
would you like to share with people, you know what? Did you know it has been about 4 months since our last interview? I can't believe it.
Crazy, yeah. It's insane how the whole year has gone by in lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt like forever ago. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? So what has been happening since our last chat, which was like in May?
So I feel like if it was May, it was right at the beginning of the lockdown. So everything was still fresh and new. And I think the rest of Australia was also in lockdown with us. So it kind of felt different. But since then, we've gotten out of lockdown and back into lockdown. And honestly, the second lockdown was a lot more difficult. So I feel like a lot has happened in that we've just been stuck indoors for a really long time and waiting to get outside, and the rest of the country is normal and we're still locked in. So in that sense it feels different, but yeah, I've had to navigate things like working from home, both me and my partner, and then in the second lockdown we didn't have childcare anymore, so to figure out working while having our toddler who was 2 years and 9 months. So she was home, so navigating all of that. So but if we're talking about a good thing, the weather has changed for the better, which is a huge factor in Melbourne, as you know. So it's warmer now, it's spring, so it feels a lot nicer.
Yeah, that was so funny. For those people who haven't lived in Melbourne, honestly, when there's sun, we just need to catch it.
You need to run out of the house and like lay in the sun in the park and just make the most of it.
So
I've
true.
honestly so many thoughts about like moving. When it was winter, I was like, is this the right place for me? It's so cloudy all the time. It's so gray all the time. But I'm better now that it's spring.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Well, would you like to share with people what has affected you the most during that extreme lockdown? You know how when you say you and your partner need to work from home, and yeah.
So I think the thing that affected me the most was initially when it started. It was nice to have all that time and be at home. It's still nice to have like the time and like a slower pace, but like just having lesser personal space is something that I've had to grapple with, and that usually comes with the territory when you have a really young child. But when there's no childcare anymore, it's really difficult to navigate. So when you're at home, you're either working for the office or you're with like looking after the child. And so me and my partner had to really tag team the whole thing, and we had to schedule our day a day the night prior. We'd be like, oh, when are your calls? So I'll look after Sufi in the first half, and you look after her in the second half. And then while you're doing all of this, you also need to sort of pay attention to your mental health. And so if you're just doing work and home, you don't have that much time to sort of devote to self-care practices and just finding some quiet time. So I had to really look at my relationship with self-care in a new way, and still find spots within the day where I could do things for myself. So I think that's one of the main things that's happened.
So what was your self-care? How did you need to change your self-care around?
It worked out to, at the end of the night when I put her to bed, and I was exhausted, and sometimes you feel like you want to, you just want to slump on the couch and watch some TV. But just making time for even just a little bit of maybe a 10-minute spot of meditation, or skincare, washing your face, putting on like a nice cream feels good. Just lighting a candle when you go for a shower is good. Um, Reading, like I kept a book by my bedside, so I wouldn't look at my phone, and I would like read my book. Um, I also figured out ways of resting within the chaos. So, for instance, if it was really chaotic during the day, earlier I would be like, go, 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 get this done and get this done and get that done. And I would rarely pause, because I would think there isn't any time to pause. But I feel like now even a 2-minute pause is sufficient to take a pause.
Yeah.
You have just 2, doesn't mean you don't pause and you just go, go, go. You can use 2 minutes as well to just sit quietly and shut your eyes wherever you are, in your living room or in your kitchen. You can just sit, shut your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and it is a pause. So I think a large thing that I've learned is sort of rethinking my understanding of what rest means, and the fact that I could have more of it within the day.
Yeah, I love how you said that, because if I have to be honest, before our chat, I actually had to shut my eyes for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, of course, I understand that. Yeah, it's needed. And I feel like as a culture, we don't prioritize rest enough, and everybody around us doesn't prioritize. So we think that we are different to be prioritizing rest. But I think it's really essential if you want to think about doing well in the long run, like personally, emotionally, for your work, for also all areas of life. If you want to function in a peaceful way, just resting is so important.
Yes. Yes, girl, yes. Because I just feel like, honestly, hands down to all Melbourneians, because you guys have such restrictive lockdown, and wow, I just can't imagine what you have been through. And I just want to take my hat off to everyone, especially to parents who have young toddlers at home. Like you said, like, you need to make time for mental space, but also for your own work, and then you need to schedule things and everything. I'm just like, wow, that is a lot of work. So how do you think those people can be there for their friends who have kids?
The things that have helped me out is essentially like friends who reach out to you and just like just check on you and see if you're doing okay, and just send you a text or a call. that makes a huge difference. And it's been a huge help when colleagues understand that you have kids around the house, and they've been so forthcoming about having Sufi sort of in there in the background sometimes, and there isn't much you can do about it. So just understanding that uh, people with kids are just trying to balance a lot of different things, even without kids. I mean, everybody is trying to balance a lot of different things, but with kids, if they're there, just to be okay with it in a professional setting. In a personal setting, now that the restrictions are slightly easier, I've had friends offer to take Sufi away for an hour or two and just give us some space and time for ourselves, which is, I think, babysitting is one of the biggest, biggest things you can do for your friend. Just offering to look after the child for like 1 hour or 2 hours, or just saying, would you guys like to go out for some time? I can come over and be around for your child. Or just that seems like a huge and thoughtful thing to do. So that's one great way to look after your friends who have kids.
Yeah, I love that. We just need to be there for each other. And thank you for saying that, yes, everyone is trying to balance everything. But I kind of want to remind people though, for parents, especially with young toddlers, they actually have a living thing that they need to look after.
A living thing that they need to balance.
Yes. That's why we need to be there for them. Right. And like at the end of the day, I really love how you said, your colleagues were really understanding having Suvi in the background. Like we just need to be human and be okay and know that everyone has got their own personal life too. But yeah, what would be the 3 things that you have learned this year?
I think the first thing is this concept of adjacent possible, which is something that has worked really well for me today. So this year. So what adjacent possible, some people might already know it, but what it means is if you have a goal that I would like to do X thing today, that could be I would really like to spend some time with family today. But if you're far away from family, like in my case, I live in a different country, and if I am craving that interaction, okay, now that is what's possible. That's the end goal, but that may not be possible. So I need to look at the different situations that are adjacent to that possible. So if I want to spend time with family, what I'm looking for is companionship and warmth and friendship and things like that. So where else can I find it in? So in my case, I have neighbors who live like really close by, and they are out watering their garden, so I can just go downstairs and have a chat with them. They're my dad's age, mom and dad's age, so I get to talk to them, share a laugh. They like gardening, so do my parents. So I've applied this sort of philosophy in all areas of my life. So my end goal is to have a cup of coffee in a cafe alone by myself. That's the end goal, but that's not possible right now. So what is the thing that's adjacent to that is make myself a nice cup of coffee, sit alone in my room, ask Sid to look after Sufi, and just relax and unwind and sit with a magazine and do the adjacent possible to the actual goal. So yeah, that's what that I've learned, number 1. Number 2 would be, yes, the concept of rest, which I touched upon earlier. Just rethinking my relationship with rest. So it doesn't have to be a whole hour or 2. It can be even a minute or 2 where you just sit and rest and shut your eyes for a second. Lie down, anything. You can rest anywhere. You can rest absolutely anywhere. And the final thing would be within me and Sid, even though we're a couple and we love each other, it's important to take time alone, like by yourselves as well, especially in lockdown when you're all in the same house at all times. So we sort of have one night a week, which is alone night. So we get to choose one area of the house. So Sid will choose living room, and I'll choose the bedroom and the bathroom. And so I'll just, put on a face mask and I'll put on a chick flick and have a glass of wine, and he's outside and he'll watch like a really violent film or something. I don't know, an action film. So we do our own thing once a week where there's no pressure of doing what the other person likes or wants to watch. And it's been really transformative, actually.
Oh my God, I love it. For those who are listening, especially if you're in a couple and you're married, honestly, that is an amazing tip, because I have realized that, when you are dating with someone for so long, you feel like you need to do what the other person wants to do. And then you're like, oh, yeah, just do whatever is easy. And then you forget that you need to do what you actually like to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whatever you just said was beautiful. Now, the first point that you said about leaving, having the space in the bedroom, you know what I thought of?
Yeah.
I thought of people doing a number two.
Like away from each other?
Like, people, don't take that for granted. Like, that's your alone time.
Exactly. And when you have a young child, sometimes even that is not your alone time.
Oh, that was so funny. Well, because you live abroad, like you said, what would you say to those expats, no matter where they are?
I think it's important to build a support circle when you're away from home. And you need to have friends that you're able to trust and who trust you. And how you can work towards that is by just doing for each other what family would do for you. So I have friends here who, if we cook something, we make 2 batches, and either I will drop it off to my friend's place or she will drop it off to my place. Childcare, similarly, if I need help from her, she will take away my kid for some time, and I'll maybe take her kid on another day. That's really important. And it's important to see your family as much as you can. Try and visit them or FaceTime, and try and have that connection alive. But also, since you're away and you know that you lack or you miss that social connection, to try and build it within your own community. That could be your own friends, that could be your colleagues, that could be volunteering, that could be just offering help to someone in your neighborhood if maybe they're old and they can't do groceries, or just doing something for someone is a great feeling, because if you were back home, you would be doing something for your parents or your siblings. Just replicating that with new people tends about the same energy, so you can create a little support system for yourself, a community.
Yes. Actually, what has been, let's say, the toughest since you moved to Australia?
I think it's just having my daughter at a time when I didn't have, like, my parents did visit when she was a newborn, so they were able to help me for a few months in the year. But just being apart, like in a different country, it's been really difficult from the main aspect of like the child, like having her visit them and get that interaction, and have them visit her, have that interaction, which has sort of been amplified by the lockdown. This year we would have had my parents visit, we would have had my partner's parents visit, we would have visited. So we haven't really seen our parents in a year. So that's been the hardest thing.
And for those people who are living in their own country and of course don't know how that feels, how do you think locals can be there for expats?
I think just like small things, like maybe inviting someone over for dinner on a regular night, not like a party necessarily, or just like having someone over for like something casual. That, for instance, like just a family dinner with someone else's family feels like nice and warm. And just being mindful of the fact that like not everybody has like that support to dip into when it comes to children. And yeah, it's these small things, and offering up whatever they can in terms of like we spoke about, like with childcare, that is just gold if somebody can offer that to you, because sometimes you need to do something really small but you can't take your child along with you and you can't get a babysitter, and it's just such a frustrating situation to be in. So yeah, that's a good place that locals can sort of step in and say, hey, like I have an hour, like I can give you 1 hour of my time.
Yeah. You know what? I just feel like, isn't that everything common sense?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we just like be humans? Like, you will want people to be there for you if you ever need help and want to feel accepted and included. So I
Yeah.
guess I would highly encourage people to just start offering anything, however small that you can. Like you said, if it's just an hour or even 5 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is, check in with people, especially those parents who have young toddlers, because man, if you don't have kids, you don't know how crazy they go.
Absolutely.
Well, I also have noticed that some people, because they have lived in their own country for so long and they don't know, I guess they can't really understand why people would move abroad.
Yeah.
Personally, I think most people are creating opportunities. But would you like to share your side of story on why you moved to Australia?
Well, for us, essentially, it was a matter of personal growth, and we were in this hometown, like we sort of went to school in and college in, and you just want like a separate set of circumstances to grow from and to learn from. And I've always wanted to like travel the world, and I did it. I did it, but it was mostly like in short bursts when you go for on a holiday. But this meant like learning a new culture, and whenever you're placed in a situation that's outside your comfort zone, you always learn that much more. So I think it's just something that I've always done, is put myself outside my comfort zone. And when my partner got offered a job in Australia, it was just a perfect way to see what else is out there and learn and grow and travel and get exposed to a different kind of culture and country. So it is challenging when you're away from friends and family, but I think the learning curve that you get from being outside of things that are so comfortable and so predictable is just, it just opens you up.
That was so beautiful. I love this so much.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy that you have choose to grow and actually live life fully. Because like you said, if you are just constantly in that, I guess, comfort zone, in that bubble where you can expect what is coming next, then really that is so boring. So for those who are listening and watching, if you have not traveled or have not lived in another country or even city, just live in a different city, you are going to see how capable you are, that you can adjust and learn different things, and you can, I guess, learn about yourself too, really.
And grow.
Yeah. Have you taken on any cultures that it's from other countries?
Um, Not necessarily like specific cultures, but I think it's a mixture of a lot of things that you just, like for instance in Australia, like it's so different to me that it's warm in Christmas time, and it's exciting that everyone's so excited about barbecues. That's nice. And all the like the short forms, like barbecues are barbies, and a postman is a postie, and all of that is so like postie, that word is so cute, like postie, like, oh, that's, yeah, things like that. I live for stuff like that.
That is so cute. Okay, posty. That's all right. So, is that your favorite Australian slang?
I think Posty's got to be it. And the Posty that we have, he's like the nicest Posty. So I really my daughter looks forward to meeting him on his little bike, and she looks forward to the Posty because in one of her like bedtime books, there's a postman, and now she gets to meet our Posty, who's really nice. So yeah, Posty has got to be
Oh, it has a story behind.
it. Does, yeah.
Well, what is one thing that you would like those who are listening and watching to take away from this chat?
I think it is to be easy on yourselves, especially in this global pandemic. I mean, different people have different restrictions, and it could be something that seems irrelevant but is impacting you in a large way. A lot of us have lost our routines and our usual ways of being. So just be gentle with yourself, take the time to rest, try and see friends wherever you can. Like, I feel like I'm a mixture of an introvert and an extrovert, but I lean more on the introvert side. So sometimes I tend to take a lot of time in solitude, but I realize when I see my friends that it gives me so much energy to see people. Even a chat on a computer, if you don't have the ability to actually meet someone in person, seeing someone and giving yourself that form of self-care is also great. So yeah, just be gentle on yourself and take whatever time you need. You don't need to rush.
Great point. I love it. So encouraging.
Thank you.
Well, before I ask you my last question, do you feel like there's anything particular that you would like to say?
Oh, nothing really. I just feel like this has been such a great chat, and I've enjoyed doing the first one, and now this one is just, you have such a good channel and you have such great content. So I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. I just feel like honestly, we just really need to be there for each other, and because everyone has got a story, and you have got the story about lockdown, and I'm sure it will touch other people. And my last question, I feel like you have already said so much, which is like being there for each other. So I'm gonna change it up. I would love to ask, what is the greatest gift that you have given to someone?
The greatest gift. I think it's my attention. And when you can just tune in and be attentive to someone, you could be in the middle of a lot of different things in your own life, but sometimes it's of great value to just stop all of that and for just a few moments and listen to someone, like really listen to someone and try and understand what they are going through from their perspective. I think my attention and time would be like the most precious thing that I have given. And I also love to receive.
Yes, I 100% agree. Because, oh my God, especially during this time now, you know what? We live in such a rapid world. That reminded me. You know how you said the resting thing, even like 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever, because we live in such a rapid world. That 2 minutes can really give you some clarity. And when other people give you the attention, and if you give them the attention, you're going to learn so much. And you are so right. That is your greatest gift, because you could have spent that time or attention on something else, yet you have chosen to spend it on me. I'm so thankful. Well, thank you so much, my love.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute blast. And you're doing such amazing work. So well done. And I look forward to everything you've got lined up.
And I look forward to having you up in here again.
I am utterly blessed to have such a beautiful friend like her. Such great wisdoms that she has shared. Yes to growth. Yes to living life fully. Yes to exploring the world. I truly hope that this chat has inspired you and has touched something inside your heart. You don't know what you don't know, so why not start your adventure today? It can be as simple as having a chat with your neighbor, or maybe giving someone your time and attention because you don't know how their day has been. Now here is a kind reminder. Parents are humans too. They also want to do things that you want to do. Things like watching a movie, drinking some wine, going out for dinner with friends without kids. These are everyday activities that most people enjoy. Doesn't matter if you are a parent or not. So if you have got some friends who have kids at home, instead of sending them presents, maybe you can offer them to look after their children. That would be an amazing gift. Again, Sowmya and I would really appreciate it if you can screenshot this episode and tag us on social. We would appreciate the love. And if you need a freelance writer, all Sowmya's details are in the description below. Now don't forget to subscribe, click the thumbs up button if you have loved it, and share it with someone because you never know what they're going through. And remember, you're amazing and you are not alone. I will see you next time!